Welcome to the kitchen. We are cooking up some deliciousness today in the Zoom test kitchen, but I'm not the only chef. Lots of chefs are here, like Ray Franklin. Hey, Ray.
Hey, David.
Good
We're ready to cook up some excitement today.
We're cooking up some excitement. We're pairing the wine with the fish or the whatever, and we're cooking. I don't know. I don't know how to cook.
We're not going to whine today, David. I'm sorry.
No, okay.
No
sorry.
whining.
No whining. I apologize. No whining. That voice is the voice of Lois Richter. Hi, Lois.
And that's the face of Lois Richter.
And oh my gosh, the face goes with the voice. Unbelievable. And up in my top left is Mr. Robert Sababadi. Am I saying your last name correctly, Robert? I never say it.
You always say it correctly, David. Always.
No, I don't. Don't. No, I don't. But is it, did I say it correctly? Sababadi?
You know, it's pronounced in so many different ways, depending on where we've been.
You're just being nice. I said it wrong.
But the best, my favorite one is I had an Irish friend who used to call me Sababadi Babadi Boo.
That was not a mistake. That was absolutely on. That's what I do with my kids here on the preschool. Sababadi Babadi Boo. Babadi Boo.
And just if I can just go back to your introduction of Lois. Lois is the voice of sanity in this.
She is
test kitchen.
She brings us all. She reminds us.
Lowest common denominator.
No, God forbid. No, that's not
Lois.
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 Oh, Lois.
Common
Common
denominator.
I like that. That's nice. That's actually
You can
very
do
cool.
you can do a lot of things when your name is Lois.
I love that. You can't do all that much when your name is Ray Harwood.
Oh, well,
Well,
you
I
know,
mean,
you
you
can do a
could,
couple of things.
But yeah.
I do have my rack of spices over here for the kitchen. Some of it hot and spicy. So,
Ooh, hot and
yeah,
spicy.
happy to be here.
So because you brought this to my attention in our chat that we've had some, or actually, sorry, Frank brought it to our attention, and then you commented on it that there are some support changes, and I just got an email just before we went live, so we'll talk about that today. But before we do that, say hello to Tony Mobley from the Conversations with Tony Mobley. How are you, sir?
I am fine. I'm glad to be here, David. I really enjoyed last night's rundown, so I
did
just
too.
wanted to let you know that.
I did too. That was fun. That was really. I feel like we're kind of figuring it out now, like how to talk over each other and not talk over each other. It's fun, and I'm so excited about next week's conversation.
Have you decided what the topic
Absolutely.
is?
We're looking forward to having you on with other educators, and we're going to be talking about the state of 2025, and hopefully, David, you'll share your vision for what your new school is going to be, and we're really excited about that.
By the way, Tony, since you mentioned that, I'm not going to do it now, but I'll find it for you. I participated in a Zoom webinar actually yesterday about AI in education, and it was fascinating. And so I'll actually share that. I'll share that with you. Just maybe interested to watch it before next week. I'll find that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Frank.
Good day.
How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
Got anything exciting happening up north? Have we invaded yet?
I don't advise it. It's too cold.
Okay. I have to tell you, I'm in Florida. It's pretty damn cold down here.
You get snow. I saw you guys had snow.
Oh my goodness. Now I'm a New Englander, so I'm fine with it. Like I actually enjoy it. I'm wearing short sleeves. I'm fine. But the Floridians down here do not know what to do with themselves. They've lost their minds. Look at Ray. Really, Ray?
It was 32 degrees this morning in Central Florida. Now we're 300 miles north of you. So
I don't think it was.
we're not
I don't
quite
think it
in
was.
South Georgia, but it's cold here.
But I don't think it was that much warmer here. I mean, it was crazy. It still is. Still is a little crazy. Hasbrook, are you crazy?
It's summer
I
there.
hope not. I think I'm pretty sane myself, but I don't know what you think about it.
Are you warm though? That's the question.
Yeah, no, we had 34 degrees centigrade day before yesterday.
Yeah, I have no idea what that means. That's how stupid I am.
It's warm.
Dang hot, very hot.
Oh, it's dang hot. All right, there you go. I love it.
David, multiply by 22 divided by 7 and add 32.
32 is 0. See.
Right over my head.
T-shirt weather.
I have to have a
weather.
chart and look it up.
That exactly. Or
But
AI.
I did learn that I think Hasmuk isn't 28 the desired temperature.
Yeah, no, 28 is still on the warm side. So you're looking at probably 22, 24 degrees centigrade as being reasonably comfortable.
Just about the same as our meters.
28's okay if there's no humidex.
I would just like to say that Robert renamed himself Sababity Boo, and that makes me very happy. That's just fantastic. I just noticed that now. Let's see who else is here. Matthew is here behind the scenes. Good to see you, Matthew, or good to not see you, Matthew, whatever the case may be. But we're glad that you're here. So let's.
I see Matthew. I see Matthew.
Oh, hey, Matthew. How are you, sir?
Hey, everybody. Nice to see all of you too. It's been a while since I've been to one of these, but glad to be back.
Glad that
Where
you're
are
here.
you these days?
I'm in New York City, Brooklyn.
You're freezing too, huh?
Yeah, well, I've got the window open and heater cranking, so I'm somewhere in between hot and freezing.
Nice. And if any of you are interested, I did just put in the chat. Oh, hi, Sue, who's watching on YouTube. Good to have you here. I did just put in the chat. Yeah, you know what? I'll put it in. I'll put it in the YouTube. Just this really isn't Zoom stuff, although I did watch it in a Zoom. But it's AI in education. It was. I found it to be a very interesting webinar, so I'll pop that there for you. For anyone
Hey,
who's
Pete just popped in.
Pete, there he is. Hi, Pete.
This working? Yes, it is.
Hello. Check 1, 2, 3.
We can hear you.
How's it going?
It's going.
Good. So is this what you all were talking about? The support update?
That's so blurry, I can't read it.
I know. I'm trying to zoom in and it's not letting me. Just give me a second here for sakes. I don't know. I'll just read it to you. It says, "Dear valued customer," that's me. "We are always striving to improve your Zoom experience." Sorry, caveat, just to be clear, I am on a business account. I don't know who else this went to. "We're always striving to improve your Zoom experience." And I just had to pay the bill. So maybe they're sending it to me because I just gave them money. That's entirely possible.
It was AI generated, David.
It was AI generated. "We're always striving to improve your Zoom experience. We understand the important role we play in keeping you connected at work, school, and in your personal life. As someone who has reached out to our support team, we want to ensure you get answers to your questions even faster in the future, saving you valuable time. We're excited to share that we're expanding your support access, effective immediately. Your plan now comes with access to our team of Zoom experts through live chat support. Got questions going forward? You can navigate your Zoom portal. Our agents are available to assist you over chat." That word Zoom portal is interesting to me. I'm not entirely sure what they mean by that, but we'll talk about that. "What's more, we've expanded our rich library of support resources, enabling you to troubleshoot technical issues by searching our knowledge base, ask questions in the Zoom community, quickly view and manage your subscription through Zoom billing portal, and more. Learn more." And then there's a button here, and it takes me somewhere. It takes me to the support page. But here is the announcement up here at the top. "Effective immediately, customers with subscription plans greater than $10 USD monthly." Is that? Yeah, that's a pro plan, right? That includes pro plans. Yeah. "May receive live chat support. Sign in and visit our contact page to view your support options. Starting February 1st, 2025, customers must add their phone numbers to an approved 10 DLC campaign in order to keep using SMS." Okay, well, that's something different. "Sign in and visit our..." Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That second line relates, and I've already asked them to correct this. They've corrected it in most places, I think. It's specifically for Zoom phone customers. They've been having this issue for months and months and months and months with the big cellular carriers who are forcing smaller companies like Zoom to require every phone to be registered with one of these 10 DLC campaigns, or your ability to send texts outside the Zoom network will be eliminated.
Frank says it's FCC mandated.
It is not FCC mandated.
That's what I read.
Well, yeah, someone said that, and someone said that out of the Zoom community, and it's not correct. And I've corrected it in several spots. It is a program from the major carriers who are under pressure by the feds to stop spam and those sorts of things. And what they're trying to do is to keep people who go, "Oh, I can't do this if I go with AT&T or somebody else," and go to one of the minor carriers, and now they're spamming all over the place and stealing ID numbers and all that kind of stuff. So it's them looking out for themselves, but it has some repercussions that even if all you do is just text your grandma every weekend, you have to be assigned to one of these 10 DLC campaigns in order for it to go through.
So this is my customer. I actually don't even know what account I'm logged into here. This is really frustrating, by the way. Like that's not my, what am I logged in as? I can't even tell. Like, why didn't I have that up there? Right,
Well,
that's my.
Once you go into a non-zoom.us, like if you go to support.zoom.us.
I know. I'm just saying it's like confusing. It should be
Right.
in any
Right.
case.
If
So
you go to the
product
community, it's also like that.
Product support, billing management, account management. Let's go to product support. AI command meetings. Go to meetings. I'm not even sure if this is the right. No, this is not it. But is this where ask the chatbot?
Ask
Contact
the chatbot.
contact Zoom support.
Scroll down.
Oh, wait a second. I'm just. Ooh, that's a nice little animation there. I like that. Look at that. That's very nice. That's pleasing to me. Sorry. Okay.
Scroll all the way
What?
down, huh?
Yeah.
Where do you go, Frank?
You can put in a ticket from my requests, and if you go, I think if they
Yeah.
haven't changed the
Here's a
page,
submit a ticket.
you can
Right, but
say-
I don't want to submit a ticket.
So-
I
No,
want to
no,
chat.
but still need help. You can start a
let me
chat.
jump in here. Let me jump in here. I posted, I got this banner message yesterday. I immediately went in to go, oh, how does this work? There's currently an issue. You can't actually get to the live support chat at the moment from most accounts, and they're working on it. If you go to the chat bot and click on the little blue thing down in the corner, you'll get a chat bot thing. And that chat bot last night was asking me to make sure that I'm logged in so that I can get the best support possible, which I think means it would put me in touch with a human.
All right, so wait, so this thing?
Yeah, that thing that's your face is covering.
Oh, sorry. Let me move my head. Hold on a second. Sorry about
What
that.
I normally do once I get to this stage is I type live support into the chat bot, and then it gives you some options.
All right,
But
let's
I
see
don't
what
know
happens.
if it's active, as Ray just said. I don't know.
Well, there's no instruction, like if you've never done this before.
Right.
Do you go here and type live chat bot?
I type light support, and then it asks you what it's about.
Select chat with. Okay, so this says, I see you want to reach our support team. First, I need to check your account to connect you to the right support agent. Select chat with agent below to get started.
Yep. It might ask you for your account ID, not your username, but your the number associated with your account.
I have an account ID?
Yep.
All right. Who should I let's do support.
How do I open a breakout room? Yeah.
How would you like to contact our team? Chat with a support agent.
But you have a business account, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is completely representative, but I guess
No, it may right. Yeah. Let's do. What do we want to look up? Let's do workplace.
When you're done, David, I'd be
you.
happy to test it also.
Right. I'm just gonna say I'm already annoyed that I'm having to click. Like, just let me talk to someone, for God's sakes. If you're gonna offer this, just let me talk to someone.
That is the issue, Dave, with a big company like Zoom that has so many products. You need to be talking to someone, not just a person who doesn't know anything other than how to switch you to somebody else. But yeah, the categories can be.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Depending how busy they are, you'll either get someone right away or you'll get put in a queue.
Right. So it says, please wait for an agent. I'm at number 11. This might take 8 minutes.
I think we should leave so we don't disturb.
I don't think I've ever had to wait in a queue because of the plan I'm on, but
I wonder how you leave the queue.
You close the window.
Does that actually do it?
Yeah.
Are we sure about that? Because sometimes once you're in, they'll send you an email, and I genuinely want to mute chat and chat. Oh, I'll try that. Okay. So it's not obvious by any stretch of the imagination.
Do you want me to try with a non-business
yeah,
account?
please. Yeah, please.
Okay.
If you're able to share your screen, that would be even better.
I will, but first I have to get onto, oh, by the way, I looked up the word Zoom portal, and that is the same thing as your Zoom account on the web browser. That's the zoom.us/sign in.
Okay.
That's
Thank
the
you.
Zoom
That's
portal.
helpful.
Okay, so now what do I want to see? I want to see, well, I want to do that, don't I? Because that's where you went to get your stuff.
I mean, I guess on the one you could, by the way, hi, Jason and John. Did I say hi to you before? I don't even remember. It's good to see both of you. I understand why companies hide support like that, because if you're not willing to look for it, you might not really need it. Maybe, I don't know. But as someone who does like accessing support every once in a while, it's a little frustrating. Go ahead, Frank.
In the course of my job, I talk to a lot of the business agents, and we talk about the support plans and what services we're going to get and customer satisfaction metrics and a whole bunch of things. One big thing, we've talked about this before in the support industry, is something called deflection. And deflection is every time you reach out for support, if they can get you to do your own self-support through a knowledge base, if a chat bot can answer your question, it costs them less money. So if you're in the support game, deflection's very important to your bottom line.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm ready to start sharing now, if you'd like.
Please.
Okay, so I want to share that right one. That one. Okay. So here's my page. I have logged into my account. Now, I'm looking for support. Where will I find support? I guess I'll just search in settings for support. And that's for settings. I'll try it.
Lois, if you just go to the top black bar, banner.
Oh, there it is, right
it's
there.
In the top. Yep, right there.
There it is. Thank you.
Shortcut.
But
I obviously
Lois,
don't do support very often.
Lois, the
Yes.
chat, but the blue chat thing at the bottom, what did that do when you click on that?
I haven't done that yet. I'm going through the process that you did.
No, I understand that, but I'm curious.
This, I'll click on it and it'll open up.
It should work anywhere where it shows up.
Exactly. That's why, right. So you don't need to actually go to the support page is what I'm getting at. You could, because that blue button, that was on the page you were just on also.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So briefly, I'm gonna help you just a little bit, Lois. Here is the issue that I've reported to Zoom that they are working on. You are actually logged into your account now.
Yes.
But it's saying sign in here for a personalized experience. And if you click that sign in here, it'll redirect you right back to this page with this very same link, and you won't get any farther currently. They're working on that because, David and Frank have special privileges because they have big accounts. Those of us on pro accounts will have issues, but go ahead and give it a try.
So I'm already signed in and I don't really need to personalize the experience any more than it is. So I'll just ask a question.
No, but wait. But before you do that, I'm sorry, maybe I wasn't paying attention. If you click sign in here, what happens? Because you are already signed in.
I'm already, well, I wouldn't do that, but I will for your edification.
I don't understand why.
Okay. Hello, how can we help you? And there's a bar and this is back in
and so you're right back where you started.
That's searching the knowledge base.
And it still says sign in here for a personalized experience.
Right. And Ray just said that that's an error and they're working on
fixing
it.
No, I know. Yeah.
If you type the words live support and hit enter, you should get an opportunity to start the process of going towards live support.
Okay, I said live support. I see you want to reach out to our team.
The very last one is chat with an agent.
There we go.
Then you got to answer some questions about what your kind of support you want is.
There you go.
So that's the error Ray's telling us about.
Yeah.
Well, that's a problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. No, wait, it should pop back up again. There we go. Try again.
There was an authenticate another
Okay.
way. I wonder what the options are.
I
yeah.
don't really want to show that
Try-
on my.
Well, no, it's not going to do anything. It's going to tell you how you can authenticate.
Yeah, it's going to say, here's your phone number. You want to call me?
No, it's not going to do that.
Are you sure?
Oh, it doesn't even give you an option to authenticate another way.
Wow.
Need help signing in with the, but I'm already signed in, so
Right.
this thing is forhoodled.
Huh. Okay. Probably shouldn't have sent the email out yet.
Okay, so
Well,
I'm going to stop
it
sharing
works
now.
for you on business accounts and enterprise accounts. So,
yeah, it did. I wonder if. Let me
They
start.
obviously have different interfaces for a business account and a regular paid account.
The interface is the same. This is what I would do. What you just did. It's just I would get authenticated, and it's not authenticating you right now.
Can you do me, Lois? Can you go up to my account in the top right?
Up here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me get rid of this first. Okay, so my account. What do you want?
I'm not sure.
Support dashboard. I think that's going to give us the same.
I think
sort of things.
Yeah.
Welcome, Lois. You're signed in.
This is for tickets. This section.
Yeah. So I'm.
So how would you? What would be the difference between submitting a ticket and this new chat support?
So live chat
if you hit
is
the
real
chat
time.
bot here, does it recognize your sign in?
Let's try that. It's got the same message.
No, but that's an old chat. I think
Hit start a new chat, the blue button.
There we go.
And then repeat process. There, look at there. Sign in here as
it's
where
still
is
got
this
the same
support?
thing. It's still got the sign in here.
But it doesn't have
ask
the
you a question.
This
Yes,
is what
go
it
ahead,
looks like
Robert.
when a puppy dog chases its tail.
Okay, wait, everyone, hold on. We're all
Robert?
talking. Hold on, Robert, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Lois, are you signed into your account on the support page?
Yes.
Because on the support page, you're not just logged into your account in the portal, but you're also signed in on the support page.
Well,
Yes, because it greeted you at the top.
yeah, it said Lois.
Okay. And the reason I asked this is because I've just gone on to one of my standard licenses, opened the account, and from the portal, by logging into the account on the portal, it puts me straight through. I don't have these authentication problems. It seems as if they're on the support page and not in the chat when you go through the portal where you have your
And John
account
is saying that they have some growing pains in logging in over here. Go ahead, Frank.
I wanted to answer your question because I think it's important. The difference between submitting a ticket and talking to a live agent is one is synchronous and one is asynchronous. So if you put in a ticket, there's a form, you fill out a bunch of information, you describe your problem, and someone at Zoom will eventually read it and send you an email back, and you'll have a dialogue through text, if and not in real time. If you have a chat with a live support agent, it's someone typing in a chat box with you. If they can't resolve your problem, you can ask them to turn it into a ticket, and generally when that happens, it gets escalated to a higher tier of support if they can't figure it out. There's different tiers of support at Zoom, and usually the higher you go, the more knowledgeable it is until you're talking to a Zoom engineer.
Those tiers come in, right? Yeah.
So shall I stop sharing now? I don't think anything's going to happen that's good here. Okay.
Sure. By the way, welcome to John Edelson, who just popped in behind the scenes. Okay. Oh, Frank, sorry.
Just before we leave this topic, I want to point out that even though the authentication's broken, talking to a live chat agent is something Zoom used to have and took away from everybody, and now they're reinstating it. So, except, I guess on a $10 or more plan, but it's still something they're sort of replacing that they used to have in the past. I'm not sure why internally they're doing that, but I know there's a lot of dissatisfaction expressed in the Zoom community that the only way free people or people who don't spend enough can get support is through the community forum, which is not really, it's supposed to be users helping users with a little bit of support from a few Zoom employees, but people go there expecting to talk to a Zoom agent, or they put in feature requests, and there's nobody from the feature request team who constantly monitors the Zoom community forum. It's more of a self-help area than an official place that you're going to find lots of Zoom employees taking notes. Although there are some who do it.
And we should also say out loud that the idea that Zoom is going to give you this app with these capabilities for free and offer you support is it's just not realistic. That's not a reasonable business model at all.
So the ad or the notice said something about $10 or more per month. Is there a Zoom account that is less than $10 a month that isn't free?
Yes.
I mean, I thought it was free and then 15 a month.
There's all kinds of Zoom things they don't advertise too, that aren't on their public facing page.
Nonprofit organizations can get a coupon if they go to a specific organization and sign up, that they get 50% off of the normal rates, which is $7 or so. So they will not get live support.
I'm sorry. Nonprofits get 50% off?
They have to go become a member of this, and I can't remember the name of the group.
TechSoup.
Do you know? What is it?
Oh, it's through
TechSoup.
TechSoup. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. When it's free, you are the product of service being sold. Yep. John also says a Zoom AI companion can often give good advice. I don't know.
It can, but my experience often, not a whole lot, but often when I see somebody post something on the Zoom community that's either kind of new or kind of phrased a different way, the first thing I'll do is like, well, could they have gone into the bot and gotten an answer? And I'll take their thing and post it in there and see what comes up. And most of the time, what's in there is not very helpful unless it's very, very basic operation.
Hasmic. Oh, I'm sorry.
Am I on stage?
You, Hasmic, the stage is yours.
As they say, for something completely different. I have this medical event coming up next Friday, and the format has changed for the live event because we had in the past pre-recorded the presentations, and the live event is a conversation around the content. And now what the medical school has decided is to change the format by having a what we call multiple choice questions, the MCQs, around a particular specialist. So the cardiologist session will have 4, 5, or 6 MCQs. So we are actually conducting the MCQs through the Zoom polls. So we create a poll, ask the question, and then give the options depending on if there's a single correct answer or multiple correct answers. I just wanted to understand the behavior of polls in Zoom, because what I found is that as host or co-host, if you launch the poll, the participants see the poll and then they respond to the poll. Each one responds. And then you end the poll. And when you end the poll, the overlay for each participant then disappears. And then you broadcast the poll. And when you do broadcast the poll, it shows each participant their chosen response and the correct answer. But it doesn't show the percentages of options that people had chosen. Then next to the broadcast, there's a little check box that you can check on, and then it says show the answers. And then what it does, it shows the correct answer, but not the percentage of people that have responded to the various options. The reason why that's important for the event is that these are all aspirant specialists who want to go and write this exam, which is an MCQ exam. And they want to know how far off the mark they are in terms of their response. And therefore, currently, I'm going to be forced to ask the talent to verbally share what percentages everybody struck. So really my question is, when you run a poll and you broadcast the poll, does it not give you the percentages of what the group or the community chose?
Hasmilk,
hold on one
I'm
second.
thinking you're confusing polls and quizzes.
Yeah, Lois, hold on for one moment. I just want to clarify. I want to do exactly what you were just getting at. So let's just clarify for a moment, because if you search for polls over here in your Zoom account, you're not going to find them. So first of all of these live under surveys, and then once you get under surveys, you can come up here to create, and you've got two options. You've got survey, which is to collect responses through a shared link or after meetings and webinars, and then you've got poll or quiz. So I'm not sure which one you're referring to, and
I chose the poll or quiz option.
Okay.
And you create, and whether it's a quiz or a poll, the format is still the same.
Okay.
Actually, that's not quite correct. If you look up at the top of the screen, you'll say, make it a quiz. The behavior is different.
Okay, make it a quiz. Oh, okay.
So now when I did that, well, let's see. Hold on. I'm not sure what changed. Let's see.
It doesn't change in the format of the poll, the questions and the answers. It changes in the form of the information that's displayed during the event after you've run the poll.
Not only
you
that,
need to play with it.
Not only that, but you get to set an answer. When it's not a quiz, there's no answer. Right? So for example, what's your favorite ice cream? Chocolate or...
There is definitely a right answer to that question, David.
Exactly. Vanilla. And then single choice. Okay. My food poll. Whoops. Okay. So now now I can say chocolate's the correct answer. Okay. So let me do one more. What's your favorite beverage? And I'll put water, soda, wine. And we'll do what should we do here? We'll do a matching rank order. Should we do rank order? Let's. What type of question do you use?
Do single, so we can try and see the other side of the coin.
Okay.
For Hazmak's example, multiple choice is what he had said.
Yeah.
You already have a single choice in the ice cream, and then you have a multiple choice for the beverage.
Okay.
And then set answer.
There's the set answer. Oh, okay. There really is no right answer.
Jesus would have chose wine, by the way.
Sorry. That's why I'm a Jew. What do you
Rabbi.
Okay, so now, all right, so now we'll save this. And now I should be able, oh crap.
You have to assign it to this meeting. Oh, but you're in a personal meeting room.
I'm in my, no, that's not the issue. Yes, I'm in a personal meeting room, but the other issue is that this is a different account. Okay, that's okay. I'm going to, well, I should be able to do it right from in here, from in this meeting, shouldn't I? Can't you do?
You could try. Click
Let's
on
try.
the
Yeah,
poll
hold on.
in the toolbar.
Q&A, doc, poll. Here we go. Polls and quizzes. Okay. So, yes. All right. Here we go. Coming back over here. So now we've got all your polls and quizzes and surveys are available for this meeting. I'm going to go ahead and click add. All right. So this is, sorry about that, everyone. I always forget that I've in a different.
David, you realize that we're not going to be able to participate in this quiz.
Why not? I'm making it in
It's
this
only
meeting.
on your screen.
No,
It's
I haven't
in this
launched it
meeting?
yet.
Oh, okay. I thought you
just
said it was in a
creating the
different
poll.
account.
Can
Now,
anybody
now I'm in the right
see-
account.
Can anybody see what he's showing, or is it just me? Is it all blurry?
Well, it's small, but I can't do anything about that.
David's resolution is really bad today. It's really blurry. The whole screen is blurry.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody send it for an eye test.
Okay. All right. Now this is, now wait, can I make this here in this thing? I cannot make this a quiz. I don't have that option. So let me just do another one. What are your favorite beverages? And then we'll do water, wine, oops, soda. Okay. And then again, I can't, it's not letting me. Okay. So now we have this save as meeting poll, save to library. I'll save it as a meeting poll. And now I can launch this. So I launch the poll and people are starting to vote.
And it's not a vote. It's just an expression of your own choice.
Right. And just as a reminder, co-hosts do not get to vote.
Do co-hosts get to create polls though?
They
I'm not
can.
sure. They can.
It can be enabled by the host.
And what I found is co-host can launch the poll.
Yes. When I look at my co-host account, it allows me to, I could do that. Yes. Oh, no, sorry. No, I can't. But maybe that's because there's a poll that's currently launched. All right. So let me end this poll and share results.
David, I
So
can't
now-
see because of the resolution on your screen. Is there also the option display on web page, display results as web page?
No.
No.
All I have is, let me stop sharing. Well, I have relaunch poll, download results, view results from browser.
Yes, that's the terminology. And if you do that, it actually makes a prettier one. And this is not available in the reporting, and I don't think, I'm asking the kitchen, I don't think this is available after this session is over. It's a grab it now or forever lose it kind of thing.
So you've got results by launch, results by respondent. And over here on the left, I can click on each person and see what their response was.
Which is, and if it's a quiz, then the correct answer, and then likewise the non-correct answer by respondents. So if you need to grade a quiz, so to speak, this is how you could do it.
So Hasmuk, what did we not do here that you were doing that wasn't working?
Can you broadcast again, or it's gone? Okay.
Oh no, I can bring it back up. And I'm sorry about my
Not the
resolution.
web page, but the other one. Can you bring up
The other one.
Oh, share results? Sure.
Share results, yeah.
And
See,
that gives you
this
percentages, so that should be fine.
No, this is not what I'm getting. So I don't know if, as per Robert, is there a difference on what the participants see in polls versus quizzes, or is it exactly the same?
There's a difference because there's a right answer.
My experience, Asma, has been the audience, what they would see here. It would say food poll. What's your favorite ice cream? You see vanilla, chocolate, 50-50. It will say your answer, vanilla, and then it will say correct answer, strawberry, or whatever was marked as the correct
Right.
answer. So the attendee, the participant, if you're in a meeting, will know whether or not they chose the correct answer. But when you go into the web portal, your web account, and pull a report, you will, it's very difficult to determine from there. My workaround has been to display in a web browser, get that web page, and I find that to display exactly what I want, where I want it, how I want it, and quickly, much faster than through reporting.
And that is not something the audience would see. That's only something the host would see.
The web page, you could make
Yeah.
the web page available. You would simply go into Zoom and say, share this web page.
Right, but what I'm saying is there's nothing here that you click that it says show the results. Like we're seeing right now, we're showing the results to everyone. But the web page is to the host. What the host does with it is up to them, of course.
Right, because, you know, in the case of taking a test, you may not want to display, you know, Lois may not want to know or shouldn't know that Jason got the wrong answer.
Exactly.
Right, right. So while you're broadcasting, David, I also have an option to close what you're broadcasting.
Right. I'm making a quiz in this account so that we can
And once
so
you've
that we can
closed
try.
it, I don't think you can get it back as an audience member.
Correct. It depends
gone.
on the host rebroadcasting it again. So,
right,
so
so-
for the community, for my application, where there's a question or a scenario, and you have 4 or 5 options, and only one of them is correct. They must choose the correct one.
So hold on one second, Hasmuk.
Sure.
So I'm launching a new poll now. Now this is done as a quiz. So in the first question, there's only one right answer. In the second question, there are 2 right answers. So let's do that, and we'll see what happens here. So 7 of 13 people, although I'm 3 of the 13 people. So I'll just give you another moment if anyone else wants to do it. 8. Anyone else? Can I quit it? Can I close it? Okay. Oh, 9 people. All right. I'm going to end the poll. So now I'm going to go ahead and click share. Well, first, before I share results to you all, I'll do view results. So there's now my options are relaunch poll. Well, I could probably make this a little bit. Relaunch poll, download results, view results from browser, display questions in a random order, and show one question at a time. Presumably that's from before. Yeah, I know, Ronnie. I don't know why it looks so crummy today. I think it's because it's in Florida and it's really, really cold. And I see you over there, Frank. Give me one second. So this is if I want to look in the back end. Now this doesn't tell you the right answer. Just tells you what people which is interesting. It just tells you what people voted for. Oh wait, sorry, it does. Well, this one does, but this one didn't. Up here, I'm not quite sure.
Can
why.
you share results? Because we can't read your webpage.
No, I understand. I understand. I want to see what that looked like. Okay, so let me share results. I'm not sure why the first one doesn't give you the correct answer, but I absolutely did it as a. Let me make sure.
It looks like you've reopened the poll.
We're viewing the quiz results because this was a quiz, wasn't it, David?
Yeah,
Yes.
you can't interact with what's been broadcast. It just gives you. It says you are viewing your quiz results.
Right. Now, so here's, well, I know you can't see this, and again, I apologize for that, but on my end, I have at the very bottom of the polls quizzes, by the way, I screwed up the first question. There was no right answer for that. I apologize.
Okay. Yeah.
But I have at the bottom, show correct answers to all. I have a toggle switch. So I'm going to go ahead and
exactly
click
what
that.
I was referring to.
And I can't see what difference that makes. Can you all?
Yes,
We
yeah,
get
I
a
can.
green check mark or a red X depending on whether we made the right answer or the wrong answer.
And then it also puts a green check next to the ones that are correct.
Correct.
But if you didn't give both the correct answers in the second one, you are incorrect.
Right. Right.
Does that
I only
make
chose
sense?
one thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, please. So Zoom, when they came out with surveys about a year ago and quizzes, a lot of people complained that Zoom polls and so forth weren't that sophisticated. They've added some more question types, but realistically, there's not a lot you can do to modify the way Zoom presents the answers. There's lots of other tools that work really well with Zoom, like Kahoot, Poll Everywhere, WooClap. There's more. There's Zoom Marketplace integrations, and a lot of those have a lot more sophisticated abilities if you're not finding what you need with Zoom and its internal polling quizzing tool.
And do those third-party things work inside a Zoom meeting? In other words,
Yeah,
when
there's
I set up a
marketplace.
poll,
There's marketplace integrations. You can either have it. Most of them have the ability to work in Zoom, or you can log in with your phone or your computer on a web browser. So there's lots of ways to do it. A lot of people where I am will have a hybrid class where people are in the room and some people are at home watching on Zoom. And if you're in the room, you're probably not logged into Zoom, and you can just pull out your phone and also participate in the poll. So,
by the way, I just spotlight myself because I'm only sending 320. I have no idea why. At 14 frames per second.
Have you changed some output on your software somewhere to not? I'm just thinking the output of your system is just going 320.
What do you mean the output?
You're running NDI over your network, and you don't have an NDI ready network.
No. This is just all a computer.
Okay.
Oh, it's all eCam?
You're on 3G.
No, it's not even eCam. I'm in traditional Zoom.
You're on a hotspot 3G.
I am?
I don't know.
I don't think I am. Oh, well.
so if you're in traditional Zoom, how are you getting your face inset to your share?
Just a virtual camera.
What does that mean, just a virtual camera? I mean, if you're in just traditional Zoom, how do you put two things in one square?
So you bring in a virtual camera. You create a virtual camera using eCam or OBS or Mimo Live or any of those. They all create virtual cameras.
You're not using just plain Zoom. You're doing other stuff.
No, what?
Because you had your little circle.
There are physical cameras, physical webcams, and there are virtual webcams and virtual cameras. Zoom allows you to pick a hardware camera or a software camera. So if you have an application on your desktop that supports being a video camera and uses your hardware, then Zoom will see that as a virtual camera and allow you to use it as your camera.
Right. My virtual camera is not putting out 360. I don't, well, whatever. We don't have to spend time on it now. I don't really know why that's happening. Maybe as simple as me needing to restart my system. Matthew, you can find that information if you go to settings and then statistics. So if you click on the cogwheel, if you're in the app itself, click on the cogwheel in the top right. If you're in a meeting, click on the green shield and then click on the cogwheel in the top right and then click on statistics and go over to the video tab and you can see where you are.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Hasmuk, did we answer your question?
Yeah, I was That's why I put my hand up. I was hoping before I retire, somebody answers my question. So the question I have is, in the format that we are planning, where you have a question and you have 1 to 5 options. I'm not 1 to 5. You have options, let's say 4 or 5 options, and only one of them is correct. Is the form a quiz or a poll? Which one
Quiz.
would work?
Quiz has an answer, poll does not.
And also make it a single choice question as opposed to a multiple choice question.
Yeah, they are all single choice. They have to choose the correct one. So there's only one correct answer. So in that case, a quiz works better. Is that what you're saying from a user experience?
If you want to show them whether or not they chose the right answer themselves, like me, you might forget which answer you actually gave. It shows you that, but then once you check the little box that says show them the right answers, they'll see whether they got it right or not.
But if you
So
want to
they'll
do
see.
anything more
Yeah.
sophisticated, like confidence intervals, then you should use an external
Gotcha.
audience survey tool like Poll Everywhere or WooClap or Kahoot or something else.
Yeah,
we use Slido, Hasmukh.
Say again?
Hasmukh, we use Slido, which allows you to do all
Slido,
of the things that you're looking for.
Yeah. The format is really is to have a question, and depending on if majority got it right or wrong, then follows a discussion of why they chose the correct one or the incorrect one and show a rationale. So the choices can be very tight, and depending on how they interpret the choices from the situation that's described, it gets the audience, these folks who want to become postgraduate exam, they have to kind of, it's a tough option. So it's not an easy, is it white or black? That's not the scene. They all look gray, and which one is the grayer of the lot is the kind of questions.
It sounds like a very exciting program. Good luck.
Zoom survey and quizzes tools are pretty basic, but they're enough for most people.
Thank you so much, community.
Frank,
Thank you.
Are you familiar with the ranked choice voting in those polls? I mean, it's an exciting thing when you're having elections, but have you ever used that in your polls?
Ranked choice in Zoom? No.
That was one of the poll options, I think, David, wasn't it?
Rank
choice
options?
voting.
I think it was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete.
I'm so upset about my resolution. That's so depressing. I know I shouldn't take it personally, but I'm really upset. I can't focus. Go ahead, Pete.
We have it in Maine for certain elections, but I don't know how it works. Not a lot of people do.
I know all about it because we worked really hard in our city to educate the population. Then we had a vote on whether our city wanted to use ranked choice voting. We did. But it turns out that the state of California only allows people who live in cities that are, what is the word? It's not contract cities, charter cities. Those are the only people that can do it. People who are in regular cities like ours are forbidden to use that. So, but anyway, if you have any
ranked
questions
choice
about,
isn't that complicated.
It's not that hard. It's like having instant runoffs. So you've got, 5 people there, and you say, I like this person, and if they are not in the race, I like this person. If they're not there, I'll take this person. And it simply goes the first level, you see what the numbers are, and then, well, nobody got more than 50%. So you take the lowest number and you disregard their first choice and find out what their second choice would be. It's like having an instant runoff.
If I offered you 3 desserts, but the whole group got to vote, and you voted for chocolate as your #1 vote, and most people said strawberry as their second choice. Strawberry would win because it had the most agreement among the group.
Yep. Anyway, what's next, David? Now, you shouldn't worry about losing a resolution. It's January 24th. Almost everyone has just lost their New Year's resolution anyway. So it's okay.
That's what this is? I made a New Year's resolution, a better resolution. I made a New Year's resolution.
Yes.
Boy, Lois,
resolution.
You are the queen of puns today. That's fantastic. We got Lois. What was it? Lois what?
The lowest common denominator.
The lowest common denominator. Now we got the resolution, losing your resolution. Very nice. What else do we have, folks?
Well, I do have a question when we get to the point where we're ready for a new different.
I think we're at the point. Oh, nope. See, Robert jumped in.
So
you gotta be quicker. You gotta be quicker, Lois. Go ahead, Robert.
I actually do have a question, but I just wanted to share something more of a question because I'm playing with Zoom tiles today in the Zoom test kitchen because this coming week I have a hybrid event where I have a panel and I've got two people stuck on big screens behind me. And I've been testing it in the background. I don't know if you can see it in the background. And those images, I mean, Tony's head and who else is there? John's head are about 3.5 feet high on the screen. And I can tell you that the resolution is very good. Now, this is nothing, I'm not picking on you, David. This was the intent of my test this evening, to see what the resolution of those faces are, those heads on a big screen. And this is using Zoom tiles.
Are the colors the same as you see on your Zoom screen?
They are very good. They come through the camera sort of from, I mean, John looks sort of bluish, but no, in reality, he's very, very, the colors are perfect. And the quality of whose image is this? The quality of Tony's image is just, I can see every hair on his head because the picture is so big. So this is Zoom tiles. My point was that this is Zoom tiles and it really gives a good positive effect on a big screen.
Lois?
Yes?
Do you want to bring in I'm not sure how much longer I can look at Tony's big head. So, I mean, that's a threat.
Well, you just don't pin Robert and you'll be fine.
Okay, I won't pin Robert. Go ahead, Lois. I'll be right back.
Okay, so I have a question for David, who just left.
Sorry, I just need 1 minute. I'll be back.
Sure. Okay, well, I'll ask everybody else. So I do a radio show and I have a friend who is my partner in another radio show. And he has done this whole thing about trees. And there's a group of people in town that looked at and researched and they're coming up with a list of trees that should be climate ready for planting in parks and things like that. And so we're going to do a show about the tree list. And I'm going to get pictures of the trees. We're going to be on Zoom and we're going to record it. And I don't have a crew in the back doing all the extra stuff. So what I wanted to find out is if I can make my picture be the trees, and I know how to do that part. I have OBS, I can do that part. But then how can I put him a little in the corner? And I've seen David do it. And so I'm trying to figure out the simplest, easiest way to get his head while he's talking about these trees. There you go. Go ahead, Pete.
So I believe you can do it in OBS. And if you have an external video switcher, like, I don't know, Vazio or something like that, you can use the PIP function on that.
So if I'm going to do this in OBS, and I understand OBS is a virtual camera and I can put different things in there, but how do I get his image out of Zoom so I can put it into OBS so I can transmit it again? That's
So you got to bring the output of Zoom into OBS. And now wait, is he going to be screen sharing like a
No.
PowerPoint while he's talking or something?
No, I'm going to have the pictures. So my little Zoom window will be the trees, and I want to put his face as he's talking in the corner.
Okay, so you can do what sometimes in TV broadcasts we call it boxes. And, you know, sometimes it's like two people talking left and right, or you can bring one person down while there's a bigger image. In OBS, you can adjust the size of that image.
But how do I get his image? Maybe John can help.
You would
with
have
this.
to have it at your computer.
On Zoom.
No, on your
Okay.
computer.
Okay, John, you want to jump in here?
Okay, this is the dirtiest, cheapest, sneakiest way to do it. You want to put his picture from Zoom on your computer screen somewhere.
Right.
In other words, maybe you can open the second window so you can have him in the second window. You know, when you go dual screen, you can put something in that dual screen.
So I'd have to buy another monitor?
No, because in Zoom now you can run dual screen even if you're running one monitor. And then you'd use the OBS window capture to capture that part of the screen on your computer screen that you've just put his face.
Okay.
And you would put that into OBS as another video source.
Okay.
And that is the cheats way to get two video sources. The downside of that is obviously you've got to have your windows well organized on your screen to get everything in. And the other problem of that is you will get a delay. So he will be speaking and his mouth will be moving a little bit behind what everybody's hearing.
Okay. Tony, what's your take?
But the flip of that, Lois, is if you can get it the other way around, the trees can be delayed by half a second and it wouldn't matter. So if you can make him the main video source and then put the trees in the background, then you'll get a better answer. But it's a cheats way of doing it. It's not perfect, but it does work.
Okay, I will have to try that out. I have until March to get it all figured out.
Okay, well, we can easily help you and get you working that
Tony, what's your take on this?
The question I have for you is, are you using a Mac computer?
Yes, I am.
So if you're using a Mac computer, I believe what you can do is put the trees on a keynote.
Yes.
And come into the keynote with picture in picture on the keynote slides. And so you can go through all of the slides, and if you want to, you can move yourself around, or you can just stay in one position. And if there are slides that you don't want the picture in picture, you can customize it to each slide.
Okay.
With the pictures.
So I've done that using just a still. So I have the slide, then I've got a still in the corner. But are you saying you can do that with the moving image off of Zoom?
Yes.
I think I'm going to have to talk to you aside and try out a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, anybody else want to jump in here before I say thank you?
Lois, one quick question. Is this a meeting or a webinar? Is it just a meeting with a bunch of folks?
It's just a meeting, and that's the purpose of the meeting is to get a recording.
Okay.
So there is no audience. There's just me showing the slideshow and him talking, basically.
And I'd certainly recommend in most cases like this is that you set up something, not do the entire presentation, but do 2-minute test.
Yeah.
And then go look at the recording to see if it looked acceptable, regardless of which method you choose. And without extra equipment and software, I'm not really sure you're going to be satisfied with it looking the way that you really want it to look. Normally, there are ways of making things appear, but they end up looking kind of funky once they go to the recording. So that.
And my other
Everybody's trying to
option, because I used to do birding with Lois and it was wonderful, beautiful, had all these people in the background doing stuff. So my other options, maybe I'll find somebody who's willing to show the slideshow and put the thing in and, you know. Hey, Robert.
Just going to say, if you're just recording, you can do this in post-production. Record the presentation, record his speaker view, and then use some sort of app that will allow you to put that on one on top of the other, and you've got what you
would
need.
OBS allow me to do that?
You could do it in OBS if you use OBS, or any other video. If there's any other video editing program that you use, because
I like that idea.
Because you're recording.
Yeah.
Ronnie in YouTube is saying, it was asking if you're Mac or PC, and he says the best solution is Ecamm or Mimo Live connected into the Zoom meeting, then design the scene in the software, which is what I'm doing, and I'm getting crummy, but I usually don't. I usually get very good
So I would have to get a new program and then learn how to use it and do it with Ecamm. Maybe I'll get David to give me a tutorial.
I'd be happy to. Can I ask, before I jump to you, Tony, or maybe, no, I'll jump to you, Tony. And then there's Sue has a question from online. Go ahead, Tony.
So the reason that I suggested Keynote is because you can do the recording in Keynote, and you can, everything that Robert mentioned, you could actually do in the Keynote. I am not an expert on Keynote, but Alex Lindsay is. And he can definitely put you in the right direction in terms of getting that handled. And the reason that I mentioned Keynote was because it's low cost. You can do it with what you already have. Now, if you're interested in spending money, I would also recommend, as already been mentioned, Mimo Live and Ecamm, but also we have a person in our community, Michael Forrest, who has QCam Presenter, and it allows you to do some amazing things as well. And it might be a little bit more reasonable than Mimo Live and Ecamm. Now, professionally, all three of those I think are absolute great options. But if you are trying to do it within a budget, then I think Keynote is the best way to go.
I think Keynote's good. And Jason in the chat says iMovie could help too. And I do have iMovie. So I will have to play and see what I can come up with. And as I say, I got 2 months to do it.
Lois, real quick, and I apologize. I got someone walked in. I got distracted. You're trying to get the little circle like I sometimes do,
with the person speaking imposed over a still a Keynote still,
or someone else from Zoom.
Someone else on Zoom, and then I will put that as my output so we can record it on Zoom.
So I can't show you that now because I'm not in with Ecamm, but Ecamm, they actually just had a pretty significant update on earlier this week. And so we have now in Ecamm, we have active speaker. So I can, without adding everyone as cameras, I can just say to Ecamm, grab the active speaker and put them in that scene. So for example, the other night when we were doing our show, I pulled up this scene right here, and this is an active speaker scene. Now it's only going to have me because I'm the only one in here now. But if I were in Ecamm, Lois, and you started speaking, you would pop up instead of me.
I would pop up instead of you?
Correct, because this camera here, this is an active speaker camera. That's what this is. Now, the beautiful thing that they just added, and this is the change, and this they added this to Zoom ISO, I think earlier this year, is that now it's not active speaker, it's unique speaker. So if, for example, I were to, let me come up here and I'm going to create a new scene and I'm going to add a camera of myself. So I'm in a Zoom meeting, right? And there's me, and then I'm going to add another camera and I'm going to make this I'm going to set this as active speaker, Zoom active speaker. Right now, again, it's just going to be me because I'm not in a Zoom meeting right now. But what's nice about this is that now this guy over here, oh, you can't see that. Can you see the green thing moving?
Yes, we can see you twice.
Okay. No, but can you see the green thing moving? I don't think you can.
No.
So go back to this. So this guy over here, this side is me. This side is Zoom active speaker. Now, because I am already in this scene, it's not going to add me to Zoom active speaker, right? So you're not going to end up with what you're seeing right here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what unique speaker does. It looks at who is already on screen and it automatically excludes them from active speaker. So that's a nice upgrade that Ecamm just gave us. That could help you, and it'll switch automatically.
And you said that's using Zoom ISO. I don't have Zoom ISO.
no,
I've
no.
got a basic account.
No. This is all Ecamm. This is all in Ecamm.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for all of that. And I'm going to get off the stage now, but I wanted to say, hey, did you notice Scott's here? He snuck in.
Hey, Scott. How are you?
Very good. Sorry to be late. It's 6 a.m. for me.
Not at all. Now there's something wrong with my scene. Look at this. I can't get out of the scene now.
I've been a lurker for a while, so thanks to Robert,
Scott, I'm just going to give you some context for Scott, because Scott is in Japan. So he is just logged in and joined us from. And I know Scott because we've been discussing some interpretation stuff, and Scott helped me put together a document that we provided to Andy for the requirements of the interpreters panel when they're doing the interpretations.
I was very kind of surprised, I guess. You know, Andy's mentioned a couple of times, and here and also over in office hours, how now that he's traveled the world, he's realizing how important interpretation is everywhere else. And, you know, that he was surprised was a surprise. And, but it's great. And hopefully, especially through Robert, we can get his and Zoom's attention to make it even better, as good as it is. But
good to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, wow. I don't want to bust in, but my stimulus today was the whole way that Zoom recording works in relation to recording interpretation and such. And it seems that there's a very clear irregularity about the way it works. And I've sent the before and after, the two different ways that I'm receiving recordings. I've sent it to Zoom and they've answered me back and said, we're working on it. So, and then Robert seems to have found the same thing, that sometimes the interpreting channels give you the floor, the participant of the language, and sometimes it doesn't.
In our world, sorry, Scott, in our world of interpretation, this whole room is called the floor. Whatever we're speaking about here is called the floor.
Okay, so we'll keep with that word. So yeah, I have files where the interpretation channel recording includes only the interpreter, and sometimes it comes in with both the interpreter and anyone on the floor who's speaking that language. And so, Robert, you prefer it with just interpreter, is that right?
I prefer it with just the interpreters because I do what I was just telling Lois to do just now. I take the films afterwards and just put the interpretation on so I can produce films with different recordings with different languages on them. And so if you're doing 4 languages, you need to have that capability. And you put a timestamp in the front, put it into DaVinci Resolve, and line up all the language channels and just produce them one by one, which is quite a simple process once you've got everything edited properly. But what you're saying, Scott, is that interpretation has the language that's coming from the floor, which is nice because you don't have to duck the main floor language when you're putting the interpretation on, which simplifies the whole process.
Hugely, because our client requests give me an English only version and a Japanese version only. So it takes 2 seconds when it has the floor in there. And when it doesn't, I had to go through a 2-day meeting, and it came with interpreter only, and I had to go through a 2-day meeting and do the ducking one by one each time somebody changed languages. It's
So Scott, let me show you how to do this in DaVinci Resolve, because you can actually just set up the compressors to be dependent on each other, depending on the channel, and it'll do the whole thing automatically.
Oh, so when one's active, it suppresses the other one. Oh,
correct. Suppresses to a certain level. You can select a level. So
cool.
And because they're compressors, you can set in the time that it takes, the attack time, and then the delay time out, so that all of those functions are available, and it's really good.
Wow, done me.
Yeah, if you happen to be using Adobe Premiere Pro, there's a very similar thing. It's normally set up for music and speech, but you can do that with any 2 tracks and set the second track ducking dependent on the other track. It's pretty cool.
Right. Thank you. Wow, that's great.
The other thing I want to say, Scott, is the thing that impressed me about what you said, both about what you did and what Zoom's doing, and that is whenever you find a problem like that, if you can get good documentation and give them clear instructions about this is how I set it up, and this is the result that I got one way, and this is the result I got in the other way, the folks at Zoom who are doing the engineering in the background will look at that and go, we've got something we can work with. Very often people will make a complaint. My recordings looked like crap, and that's all they complain about. You need to fix it, and Zoom can't do anything about that. But the type of thing that you described, where you gave them really good information, that's what usually gets them more willing to be involved in a fix and a resolution.
Yeah, thanks. And it still takes a bit of patience on our side, because I had to go through the whole story with tier 1, and when they finally understood it, they said, "Oh, we're going to have to escalate." And they escalated, and the next level person says, "So what's your problem?" And they start over.
Yeah. Don't get me started.
But at least, better than most. And the odd thing is, in my experience, this is a new phenomenon. In the early days of Zoom, the cloud recording didn't record the language at all, and we had to set up a separate computer for each language, and the interpreter would only record on the local recording. So we had to set up a separate computer each language, and it would listen to that language and would record that. And then all of a sudden it changed, and I was so happy. And now it's random.
Well, and it wouldn't be the first thing that used to work and doesn't work now, because I don't know this for a fact, but it certainly seems to me with I'll say this, you guys have heard it a lot. Yeah, I wrote my first computer program in 1970, so I've been in computers and software development for a long time. It appears to me that they rewrote or significantly modified a number of modules in the Zoom software when they went to Workplace for version 6. And some of the things that used to work really, really well have had to be modified somehow to get back to the way people have been accustomed to doing it. And it sounds to me like you might have found one of those situations where some coder somewhere said, oh, I can make this run faster by doing this, this, and this, and has an unintended side effect.
It was so, every time I go in there, it's so vast, the number of things you can adjust. It's amazing. We mainly our main client is a Teams environment. And that's completely the other way around. You can hardly adjust anything. And it's, you know, and it's terrible, and we all agree it's terrible, I think. So the only reason I get to do Zoom sometimes is people want the interpretation function. But and on another note, a couple of weeks ago, Teams interpretation function started working normally. You know, they've had a so-called function for a little while, but it was only one way, so of course useless. But just the other day, we noticed that it's now working properly. Well, as properly as can be. So unfortunately, I won't get to use Zoom as much, but still the recording, there's no recording of interpreter on Teams. So these people that want recordings are still interested. I'm trying not to hog
Frank.
the time.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying,
Frank,
I don't want to hog the time.
Well, it's an interesting topic. Question for Robert and you. Zoom cloud recording already has the ability to capture separate audio from 100 people. Wouldn't a similar process for translators help if you could record each feed clean to the cloud? Would that be part of the solution? Not the whole solution, but part of the solution?
That functionality is already there.
Yeah.
So you can record the interpretation. They call them languages. We call them channels.
Sure.
And the issue that Scott is mentioning is that when you take that individual, because initially when they did it, you just have the individual interpreters. So if you had two interpreters, you'd have to add those two channels to each other to get the full interpretation for that one language. Now they've put it in and blended it so you have one language channel. But what Scott is saying is you can't hear the
Sure.
floor being ducked anymore.
The ducking, yeah.
And the interesting thing is, I hadn't noticed this, but in the player, when you share the link to access the recordings to the outside, I love the Zoom player because you can do everything you need to do as if you were in the meeting, and everything is in total sync. In other words, the chat, the transcript, everything just goes through in sync. And you can choose the language channel that you want to listen to. Now, up until now, and this is, Scott and I sort of emailed each other today on this, up until now, if you were to choose, for example, the English channel, and someone in the main on the floor started speaking English, you would still hear him. It's only until the interpreter started speaking in English that that person would be ducked. So now when you choose the English channel, you can't even hear if someone is speaking in English on the floor. So there is a problem that they're having. Either it's a logical problem or it's a programming problem. But the inconsistency that Scott's talking about, I haven't seen that, but I know that that inconsistency is also something to do with Mac Windows, and depending on what version of Windows you're using. So there's a lot of variables there that Zoom needs to look at.
Yeah, sounds like it. Zoom took a long time to get the ASL feature working, but when they did, I thought they rolled it out in a pretty good comprehensive manner. So I think if you get it to the right team, they'll eventually get it right.
Yeah, I mean, Zoom's ASL, I mean, for you guys on the American continent, you think of sign language as American Sign Language, but sign language is sign language from different.
Yeah, there's other ones, obviously.
Yeah, but Zoom has the best tool on the market. I mean, it is so brilliant. It is so good to use for production, for meetings, for everything. There is nothing better than the sign language tool that Zoom provides. No other conferencing platform has provided that capability. A lot of people do it in vMix when they bring someone in from the outside and then they superimpose it. But that is a permanent fixture. While with Zoom, the person who is looking at the sign language can move that window around to suit their specific requirements and purposes,
and
make it
resize
larger.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so brilliant. It is so brilliant.
I like the controls for the actual signers too, the way they have the numbering system, and if you're the first person, If it's time for the second person to have a break, you turn your camera on it and second person fades out. I like how they've done that.
I like that too, and the interpreters like that as well. So that's always the best sign. The other thing that we sort of don't we take for granted, but we don't really understand about sign language is that if I have someone who is deaf on this meeting and he is signing, he's not an interpreter, he's just a participant and he's signing, then the sign language interpreter actually has to read the sign language and read it back to us in audio form so that we can understand it. And so that's functionality that's also available in the interface, which you sort of don't think about. It's not a sort of an obvious thing to think about, but it's there. Like I said, Zoom's sign language functionality is brilliant. It's the best in the market at the moment.
Robert, how is their Zoom instructions if you have people who are wanting to know about this translation and things? Do they have good tutorials?
In different
I
languages?
know. Yeah, we do them by ourselves actually. What we do is when letting people into a meeting or webinar, we will put them onto the screen in a rolling form, like a presentation in different languages so people can read them and set themselves up. We will also add those slides as documents to the meeting, and then you can share them in the chat straight away because they're shared documents. And that is really good because you can assign someone to do that during the big meeting. But usually what we'll do, I'm playing with OSC at the moment, because what I'm trying to do in OSC is identified in different languages interpretation or translation, and then give that document automatically into the chat so people can find it. But it has to be multilingual. David, would you like to ask a question?
Would actually. No, I wouldn't. But someone that I know would. Sue from YouTube has a question, and it's about recording. So we're kind of in the same. How does resolution on Zoom recording compare with Google Meets? Or I'll add to that other tools also.
Well, this is a Zoom kitchen. How would we know what Google does?
Oh, let me tell you something. Yeah, we know Google Meets. Google Meets resolution is what level of what can I use here, David?
You're muted.
It looks like me today.
Really?
It is terrible.
Yeah, that bad.
No, David looks okay now. Don't complain about David. David looks good now. Something's changed.
Huh.
But it's incomparable. The recordings, the 1080p recordings on Zoom in the cloud are perfect. There's a little bit of compression that is used, but otherwise they're perfect.
And with Meet?
Well, you're an exception, David, because you just look good, so your recording has to be good.
No, but her question was, is Google Meet substantially worse than Zoom?
It is substantially worse because you'll only get 720 out of it. Let's start off with that, and
gotcha.
Then you're in the browser version all the time, so you're munching and crunching everything through your web browser, depending on what that is and what the workload is, and that it's nothing compared with an app-based Zoom meeting.
There's a lot to understand about Zoom recordings and resolution, though.
And are the cloud recordings and the recordings on my own computer, the ones on my computer have a better resolution, don't they?
Depends what you're referring to, Lice. If you're recording yourself locally, that is the best resolution. It'll be better than the cloud recording. If you're recording other people, it all depends on a multiple number of things, like Frank said.
And if you're just using Zoom as a screen recording tool and not for a meeting, there's lots of dedicated screen recording tools that might do a better job.
Okay. Ronnie loves the Zoom ISO separate interpretation audio channels output to hardware or Dante. Tony.
So as we were talking, I was fooling around to see if I could just do something to show Lois what I was talking about as far as Keynote is concerned. If I can share screen, we can look at this. Do I have permission to share screen?
You should. Everyone should.
Okay.
Are you using the live? Is that what you're using, the live video option?
Yes.
Yeah. The problem with that is, I mean, you can certainly show it. The problem with that is that you can't grab someone else's video. It's only your video.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So this is a video on the left, just a photograph, and then this is me live. I'm just curious as to whether or not the video will play.
Okay, so today is Tuesday.
Yes.
What is today? The 17th?
17th.
17th of September. What a difference a day makes. Enjoying the
It's not that long, but I'm not going to play it.
Were you?
This is
Did
part
it
of my healing
freeze?
journey.
Did it freeze your
No, I think
live?
I think he
while
just
that
stopped.
played?
No, I just stopped it. It was playing. I didn't know if y'all. I didn't want it to bother y'all with playing the whole thing. It's probably about a minute or something like that
Right. So
long.
So what you've done? Oh, for God, there it goes again. Sorry, there's a bug in Ecamm which is bothering me.
So if you were to play that video and wave your hand, would we see both things moving?
Yes.
So it doesn't freeze your live thing.
Of God, we're out doing a walk in the cul-de-sac.
I'm talking.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
hear me
Walking in
talking,
the
right?
cul-de-sac.
Yes,
and
thank
the
you.
video's going
So did you say
on.
back January was the last time you were really
We don't
able
need
to
the sound,
do
really.
any walking?
Yep, January 2nd.
Okay. You can stop now.
But that's not what you want to do, Lois, because he's capturing himself, not a Zoom participant.
Exactly. That's the problem. So right now, for example, I'm in. So this is a keynote, and oh wait, let me turn off.
Do you want to stop sharing there?
Yes.
Let's see if I can see him.
Let me turn this off. Bear with me.
Okay.
There we
Sorry
go.
about that.
No, thank you, Tony. That's very useful.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having such a difficult time here because there we go. So this is Keynote, what you're seeing now, and me in Keynote, and like he said, you can put a video in here and you can go through your presentation, everything. But the challenge that you have is, oh, sorry, I didn't layer things correctly. I don't have myself on every page. But the challenge is getting a Zoom participant in. Now, the way that you could do that using Keynote is if you grabbed them via Zoom ISO and then somehow fed that in to Keynote as like using a virtual camera or something. You could.
So I don't have Zoom ISO. What would happen if I just recorded him talking, and then later could I take that recording and import it to a corner of Keynote?
Absolutely.
And you can adjust the size so it isn't the whole thing, it's just this much?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Frank?
So that doesn't work again.
So a couple options. You could have the person in the Zoom meeting pin themselves and record them locally and share that file with you for video editing later. Or David can answer this question, but Ecamm standard is $16 a month. If you just bought it, can you have a 1-month subscription, David?
Sure, I think so.
So it costs you $16 to do what David's doing for, you could play with it for a month.
Or the other thing you could do is just tell me when you need to do this, and I'm happy to do it for you.
You mean you'd show the keynote?
Sure.
Oh,
They could just send the
okay.
keynote to me. I could build the scene, put the person over it using Ecamm, and type it in. Easy peasy.
Thank you, David. That
Yeah,
sounds
no
like
problem.
the easiest solution of all, although I probably should learn some more stuff anyway.
Oh, we should all always learn more stuff. There's no doubt about that.
Thank you, everybody.
And I just want to say I probably didn't do it justice, but there are a lot of different things that you can do, Lois, with Keynote. The other thing that I want to mention is that Memo Live has, I think, 2 weeks that you can use it for free. And there is also a limited time where you can use Michael Force's QCam for free as well. I'm not sure how much time it is, but there are options out there.
Alrighty then. Anything else?
Yeah, but Lois, just going back to this Keynote solution, you do, maybe it wasn't specified, but if you have your presentation and you have the speaker recorded, you can play back that speaker in the Keynote, just like you did with the virtual cam, and you would have like a picture in picture. You'd have 2 videos playing and just record that. And that's a very simple way of doing it. You don't need any additional knowledge to do that.
Right. So here's Keynote, right? If you go up to media, you can choose either a video that you've pre-recorded, or so if you've recorded it, if you record, if you record even in Zoom, just that video, the speaker view of that person, you can just bring it in here and then do whatever you want with it. For live video, all videos will come in this shape, but then you can, it's not cropping, it's masking. You can mask any of them to different shapes. So this is my live video. I can now go over to live video, and over here you see where it says mask. Right now it's 16:9. I can make it a circle, and I can apply anything that I want to it. So I'll put it up here, and now we're going to make sure that this stays on every page. I haven't done this in a long time. You just do like that? Yeah, I think you just have to kind of paste into every page. So now when I go live.
Just duplicate the pages, David.
I'm sorry?
Just duplicate the pages multiple times.
Well, right. I had my pages already built, so that's the only reason I did it. So now when I go live, and I know I'm down in the corner here also, just ignore that, but I can go through my thing and I will stay up there in the top corner. And these are all the, the different, so that's how you could do it. And again, you could do the same exact thing with the pre-recorded video.
Thanks. That sounds like the best idea so far. Boy, we had a lot of ideas today. Thank you all.
Someone had their hand up before. I forget who. So, oh, there it is. Hey, Scott.
Hi. I just happened to check my mail and I got my answer back from Zoom on this. And interesting, so interesting. They say only interpreters designated to the target language will have their audio recorded during the time they were designated as interpreters. Other participants may appear in the target language audio file if they have been designated as language interpreters of the target language, and only in the time interval during which they were designated. Outside of the above scenario, it is not expected that other participants have their audio recorded in the language interpretation audio file. So there's the official position. And it means that I've been getting a bonus for at least a year. Isn't that amazing?
But was that from a ticket, that
Yeah.
response?
That's the end of my ticket after 18
So you can
emails.
put in a feature request. Zoom has feature requests. There's a form. They expect you to.
No, I raised this ticket as an issue.
Right. But if they're going to say it's operating as the way they intend it to operate, then what you have to do is put in a feature request,
I see.
and the feature request has to be formatted. There's a form you download. They want you to explain a bunch of reasons and rationales. And then they'll consider if they need to enhance the product in some way.
So is there a consensus here on whether that would be a feature or a bug to have the floor and the person and the interpreter?
It's how Zoom reacts to these things. If the person who gets your ticket reads the specification and says it's operating as it should be operating, then what you want to what they're going to consider your request is a feature request, but you have to formally put it in. They're going to say it's meeting the current definition of what we want it to do. Even though you might consider it a bug, they'll consider your request a feature request.
Right. So I just wonder, how do we feel? Robert, what do you think? You're happy to have the interpreter only?
I'm happy to have the interpreter only in the files, but in the Zoom player where I send out the recording, I think that's a bug. If someone chooses to listen in English and there's someone speaking on the floor in English, he needs to be able to hear him and not look around and see what settings need to be changed. Because if there are two people having a conversation, that means that person has to sit there clicking between language channels to listen to one language. So that's a bug.
I wonder if I noticed you had Andy on here a few weeks ago. I wonder if we could get him in on just to talk about language, since he said he realizes it's important. You seem to have influence on him, Robert. So
he definitely has influence. I'm not sure if that's his area, but he's in events, and language interpretation is huge in events. So
he seems to be it's just amazing how accessible, and I love listening to him. He's so smart, and the way he speaks is so dense. Everything coming out of his mouth has meaning. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
that's beautifully put, Scott. That is really beautifully put, because we were in here in the Zoom test kitchen, we've always thought of Andy as someone who can articulate what he's talking about for both for the technical people and for the non-technical audience.
Exactly.
You've
I mean,
done
if I
it in a
just
different way.
correctly, he just called him dense. So I think that's, see, that doesn't translate well. Thank you, Jason. But the other language speaking people, they didn't get that.
There's no wasted sounds coming from him.
There's nothing dense about that statement, David. Don't be naughty.
Get it.
I did get it out of politeness. I didn't want to react.
Ronnie, by the way, Ronnie agrees with you, Robert, that it's a bug when playing, downloading, and editing separate audio. He says that's a bug.
Which way is a bug?
What you were just saying. The thing that you said was the bug in the playback.
We talked about two things, because Scott mentioned the recordings that he needs, and I was talking about the player, the Zoom recordings player.
And you said the bug in the player.
I said there's a bug in the player.
Right, and Ronnie agrees with you. Yep, that's all.
Maybe could we get Andy to have the person in charge of language function come on?
You know what, Scott? I don't know if that role even exists. The amount of different people we've meandered through at Zoom talking about this functionality, I really don't know. But definitely, I've never thought about doing this, but I'm going to put it in as a bug just now. Just put it in as a bug.
The other thing I found useful when I reported is I left the recordings in my recordings, area, and I said, on this date, this meeting ID at this time, and then they can go and see their own file. It's not even me sending the file. Well,
I've
it
never
would
put
be
in a
great.
I've never put in a formal bug request or are they responsive to that? I mean, will they get back to you if you're the one who submits the bug request? They will, Jason?
It's not
No.
super fast, but they do.
Wait, Ray has a different experience. Uh-oh.
So remember my 3-week long issue going through the tier 1 folks with my Zoom events domain name, my subdomain that I had, that I finally ended up having to reach out to one of my Zoom events technical staff and go, hey, can you help me? And he solved it in a day or two. Well, he, working with the Zoom engineers, solved it in a day or two. Afterwards, I wrote to my contact and I said, do you have any idea exactly what the issue was? It's fixed and it's working now, but what was the issue? And the response I got was, Zoom engineers very rarely share the root cause analysis results with anybody. So, if you share a bug with somebody at Zoom and they go off and look at it and go, you're right, something's wrong, they might fix it. They probably will fix it if enough people are using it. If you're the only person that ever runs into it, they might go, that's a bug, but we're not working on it. But if it turns out to be something like that live chat with a human thing that we saw, I pointed that out and like, okay, no, we're going to jump on that because it's not working for anybody that we know. If it's big, they'll work on it and then it'll be fixed, but you won't hear anything other than, well, have you ever subscribed to the reports of issues? We're having trouble with Zoom phone connections in Singapore or whatever, and those just go, we've discovered an issue, we've discovered the cause of the issue, our engineers are working on the issue is fixed and we're continuing to monitor, and the issue is resolved. That's all you get from them. You don't really get much more.
No programmer ever shares their mistakes, John says. Yeah.
No, the problem is they never admit their mistakes. As soon as their software is published, they're sharing their mistakes, and we have to live with them.
Right. Right. Frank, over to you. Robert, just check your chat, please.
I don't know how many people are aware, but Zoom has something called a technical account manager, a TAM. And those people often will share insights into what's happening behind the scenes if you have a TAM.
But I assume that's an enterprise thing?
You have to have a high enough level of account to warrant a TAM. It costs money too to have a TAM.
Gotcha.
But they become basically your internal advocate at Zoom, and they also can connect you directly with engineers or teams to help facilitate either the bug fix or the feature request. It also really helps if there's a bug to try to get as many people as possible to submit the same bug.
Yes.
They do care about how many people are being impacted by a bug in the priority of fixing it. One thing I'll say though is if you hammer on the accessibility aspect, Zoom often will prioritize accessibility features over things like a button that's in the wrong spot or malformed or something. And there are people at Zoom you can talk to who are on the accessibility team who might champion your cause as well.
Yeah. Pete.
So, I'm running a Zoom event, okay? And I want to bring in another Zoom event or some other thing, maybe on Discord or whatever. I know how to do it on OBS in between. Is there a way to do it simple ways with one computer?
Followed that.
So let's say I'm on this Zoom event here right now with everyone, and I have another one I want to bring in and incorporate it to this.
You have another one, what?
Another Zoom event, or maybe another platform, Skype, Discord, whatever.
But do you like? Do you
Say meeting, not event, because event is a loaded word in the Zoom
Okay,
vocabulary.
all right. Meeting.
So you want to basically screen scrape or grab ISO video from one meeting and bring it into another? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, and audio.
And audio. Okay. John, do you want to jump in?
The short answer would be no. The true answer is you can, but it's not a good idea. If you want to go Zoom to Zoom, you can't run Zoom at 2 Zoom meetings on the same PC unless you cheat. In other words, run Zoom as an app and then run Zoom as a browser. And then you can run the two the same, and then you can screen scrape from one to the other. But I wouldn't recommend doing it, because if you're going cheap, then you're probably, with respect, not got an expensive computer, and therefore you're gonna overload the processing and it's gonna fail.
Well, so let me push back on that, and then I'll come over to you, Robert. So what a lot of people in the Ecamm universe want to do is they want to join a Zoom, grab participants or panelists from that Zoom into Ecamm, produce it, and then send it back into the same Zoom. And we keep telling them that's not, it works, but it's not good because the sync is going to be off. Because the video is making taking a longer trip than the audio. So what we tell them is bring your panelists into, start a meeting in Ecamm for Zoom, bring your panelists into that meeting, then start native Zoom, vanilla Zoom, and start your audience meeting. And then produce your whole thing in Ecamm, and then in vanilla Zoom, do what I'm doing today, which is just use the virtual camera, and then that's how you pipe it in cleanly with no problems.
Okay, but you still got the performance problem. You're running effectively 2 events in the same machine.
Well, I think that's what
and that's why you get the big lag. But you say you've only got one machine. I don't believe you. You're fibbing to me. Don't tell me you haven't got access to a mobile phone or a tablet.
But that's going to immediately lower the quality of your meeting. Why would you want to do that?
Well, you'll get less lag. You'll get less lag, and if you run it in one laptop.
No, but there's no lag. You're bringing your presenters are in one meeting. Your show is in one meeting. You're producing it, and then you're just piping that into the other meeting. There's no lag. I don't think there's any lag. Robert, go ahead.
Well, there is a lag, but as you say, it's not so noticeable because they're in a different meeting, so they don't know that the person spoke 2 seconds ago. But it's a performance problem. That's your biggest problem. Your biggest issue with anything like that is a performance problem. You're trying to get a computer to run 2 meetings at the same time, and there are, all our community champions know, there are thousands and thousands of people out there who are trying to run on the lowest performing Mac or a Chromebook, and they're trying to run multiple meetings, and there are so many problems then with performance. So you need to make sure your machine's going to survive the situation. You've got to make sure it's got the performance, and then you can run 2 meetings through 2 apps at the same time.
Yeah, let's not talk about my performance. Robert, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I just wanted to understand, Pete, can you tell us what you want to bring in?
So it could be another Zoom meeting or another platform.
With one person, one speaker?
You could have multiple speakers on both systems.
Okay,
now,
but you're not going to want to speak across the systems, are you?
Yeah, I do want to speak across the systems. Now, I've been able to do it
that's different.
That's OBS. Different.
Right.
But the audio, but I have to manually switch the audio between one meeting and the other.
Why can't they just all be in the same meeting? That seems so silly.
I know, but I'm just a scenario. Just a scenario. I'm looking at, because I've had people ask about this.
It's not a good idea.
Yeah, make yeah, shove them all into the same meeting. Hey,
and if they need to be separate, Pete, put them all into the same meeting, then split them up into 2 separate breakout rooms, and when you need them to be together, bring them back together.
That's a good idea.
Okay, all right, yeah, that'll work too.
That's a good idea.
Another thought that someone gave me was, okay, 2 computers, multiple screens, send the video out from one to capture into, from computer 1 to computer 2. And that, maybe that HDMI, at least you'll get video to the other one. I'm not sure about audio. You should be able to get it that way.
Everything you're saying reminds me of the beginning of the pandemic, and there's lots of tools and ways to do things that are better now.
So
Yeah,
this,
of course, yeah.
what you just described is what I'm doing, right? So this computer screen that you're seeing is a separate computer that's coming into this Zoom through a video, whatever you call it, interface. And I can also, if I were to go to YouTube, I can also run audio from here. Let me switch to a different thing. So this is going to be meta because I'm going to play our own show into this. But you should be able to hear this.
But the audio, but I have to manually switch the audio.
Right, and that's just because of how I have it routed. So yes, you can do that, but it's messy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason, Robert, did you see the chat? Can I pass host to you?
Yeah, I did see the chat, and I'm getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's already 11 o'clock here. I need to leave just now.
Intentionally?
No, I wrote back to you, David.
I'm kidding. Frank, I'll pass it over to you. Go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
Pete, if you're just trying to slick up the video presentation, is this a problem that you could solve with Zoom Production Studio?
I'm not sure. I don't have it, and neither does anyone else that I know.
Low barrier to entry right now to get it.
You could get it for a month, and right.
Yeah, I've done the webinar level for a month, and they charge me 3 months for it. There's been issues that it's difficult to unsubscribe in the past with them. So
check out Zoom Production Studio. I think that's trying to solve the problem you're getting at.
What else have we got? I'm about to bid you all farewell, but
I don't think there's a lot. I checked the Zoom release notes. There's nothing really happening right now.
There's nothing coming up. Is there a release coming up? I didn't see anything.
No, there's nothing really announced. There's, I think, something old that they've re-announced, but it's not going to impact any of us. It's that Zoom on-prem AI parody thing they're doing.
Oh, to get things up on to parody. Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm going to pass this over to you, and then you can call it when you want, Frank. I'm wishing you guys a fantastic weekend.
Enjoy your snow. Now you can live like a real Canadian. So
I don't think he even has winter tires to drive around in, Frank.
Neither do I. All seasons. But you should have winter tires. They're very good investment. Any topics anyone wants to discuss, or are we near the end for today?
Appreciate all the
I'm good.
All right. Well, I don't have any flashy outros like Mike does. So we're here every Friday at 3 o'clock. We have a Discord. You can find that by looking for Zoom Test Kitchen on the web. There's a web page that'll give you all the information and contact details. We look forward to vigorous participation every week, including from YouTube. Basically, Zoom Test Kitchen is a place for people who are interested in Zoom to share ideas and solve problems together. We've been doing this since probably pretty close to the beginning of the pandemic, and there's a lot of knowledge in this room on any given Friday. happy to help if you have Zoom questions or problems. And I
Thanks a
guess
lot.
I wish you all a nice, happy weekend.
Thank you.
Do I get a full check for that, David? Everyone, have a nice weekend. See you next time.
Thanks.
Thanks, Frank. Take care. Bye. And thanks for coming, Scott.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank you.